So anyway, yes. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
set my
what?
alarm and everything. Like I normally do. I got up like an hour earlier. I only had some minor last minute changes for meme for the request. And hello there, Liam. I am the J563. I had a camera, but I'm not a huge fan of showing my face. And
That's fun.
basically,
No problem.
the death. I. All right, where's the present? All right. So. Okay, let's see. There we go. So basically, my Death Hour request should go is like this. I had several ideas for fights. Like ones I had was but I my first idea was like Veltal from Xenogears versus Jehudi from Zone of the Enders, since they're both mecha from more niche games for publishers.
Hmm.
The other idea I initially had was a Red Rage Battle Royale, which I would have gone with since I'm going through another Super Sentai / Power Rangers phase, but I decided to go with a different one. My research wasn't that hard because, I mean, you guys did cover both franchises before, and what's that fight? The Reds and Blues from Red vs. Blue and the
Yeah.
Mercenaries from TF2. Now, elephant in the room. I am aware Rooster Teeth came back, and I mean, you guys were owned by Rooster Teeth for a while, but I had this presentation finished by September, like when the Kickstarter got finished. So I decided why not go with it. Now, why
Yeah, I
these two
mean,
in
it doesn't
particular?
really matter that
Like,
it's
why
owned
these
by
two in
Rooster
particular?
Teeth.
Well, I'm an
Like,
avid fan of both Red vs. Blue and TF2, and I noticed that these casts have something in common. Plus, if this does go through, it might be the first Red vs. Blue where they don't fight themselves. And TF2 only had one matchup, and Red vs. Blue had had two, if I'm remembering correctly. Uh, they also have
yeah,
the connection between these two is that they both are that who aren't really the best at fighting, but they both fought major corporations and government conspiracies. And they also had fights over worthless plots of land, that being Blood Gulch and the Gravel Pits. And they also both have a ladies' man who's a surprisingly good fighter, Tucker and Scout, the crazy war-loving military expert who thinks their side is the best and has a shotgun as their go-to weapon, Sergeant Soldier, the crazy delusional guy who has lost any and all touch of reality and causes more harm than good, Caboose and Pyro, the one who survives the near impossible as the things for explosives, Donut and Demoman, the heavy, Lopez and, well, heavy, the techie who is somehow the most sane person in the group, Simmons and Engineer, a special agent who is obscurely apparent, Tex and Spy, and the sniper has ties to a major conspiracy, Church and Sniper, and finally the medical expert who manages to do more harm than healing, Doc and Medic. And I know Doc's neutral and not even like a member of Reds and Blues, but he spends like most of his time with them. And I always consider Doc to be a
Mhm.
blue since well he was sent in to help them out at first. Also, they have a theme Red vs. Blue. Now, for the reason of what this fight to happen, the first fight is that both fan bases seem to overlap. Like, since due to the theme Red Blue and the overall insane humor, I've seen a lot of fans Red versus Blue uh, overlap. And the second reason, it would just be hilarious because I just think the whole fight between these two like would just be just so what, just how over the top and just how many memes
it's
we could get out of it.
pretty ripe for comedy. Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
and now for the Reds and Blues, the cast. The Reds and Blues who sit around do nothing but talk in a box canyon and also wonder why they're here. So, the backstory of Red vs. Blue is that during the war between the Mankind and the Covenant, there were multiple programs to try and stop the war, try and end the war, and one of these was called Project Freelancer. During this program, the program was to give soldiers an AI to give them superhuman abilities. However, they were only able to get one, and it was an alpha based on the director, Leonard Church. And how do these train these guys? Get a bunch of crappy soldiers from the UNSC and put them in the box canyon and have them fight each other. The first of these is Sarge. So, no one knows his real name. He used to be in the book. He used to be in a book that was written by Bruce Steve. He's confirmed that he was an ODST, but he got discharged due to his ironic fear of heights, and was the leader of the Red Army, and was the only member of either side that actually took the war seriously. And his go-to weapon is his baby, the shotgun. Also, it's a running gag that between both the guys that he is Boomstick's dad. And he also
Mhm.
dies at the end of Restoration. It was a great date. It was a great day to die. Next is Simmons. The only sane person in the whole show is that he is a nerd, and is surprisingly intelligent but terrified of girls, a cyborg, but everyone kind of forgets about it, good with rocket launchers, and ends up being the leader of Red Team after Sarge's death, and he also discharged Griff. Versus Griff. Protect me, Code! Griff is hated by Sarge because he wanted Griff to be better. And he is the reason we even got Griff Ball to begin with. And his initial weapon was the Brute Shot. That was supposed to be his main weapon, but the Brute Shot didn't come back in Halo 4, so that was dropped. And he got hit many, many times in the crotch by Griff. Griff's never going to be a dad. I am sorry. And then we got Franklin Delado Donut, or Donut as he's called. He was the rookie for the red team, and somehow he was the managed once took the flag from blue team, and by accident he thought it was like a shop, and ended up taking it, getting the pink armor. He doesn't call it pink; it's lightish red, and it survived multiple near-death encounters. Like he got shot in the, he had a grenade to the face, and that I thought was a spider, and he was shot at and bled to death for a whole year. And he has a weird tendency to make unintentional euphemisms, and even got referenced in Halo Infinite, despite not even appearing in Restoration very much. And then finally, member of the red team is Lopez the Heavy. He is a robot because basically they put the Alpha there, and they gave the Reds a spare robot kit so they wouldn't have suspicion. And he was silent for a while until he, but due to this installing a speech chip, he could only speak Spanish badly. And was the only, it was evil for like a brief while, but then he had to make good later again. He still hates everybody. And now on to the blue team. First is Littered Church. He's actually an AI that was based on the director. And his main weapon is a sniper rifle, but he has a terrible aim, like comically bad aim. And it's just Jedi in general. Tex is like a member of Project Freelancer, is based on the wife, the death of Church's wife, and is designated to fail at fighting. Next is Lavertius Tucker. He only joined the army to get chicks, but is not very good at it because you can't pick up chicks in a tank. And he has an energy sword that's like a key that unlocks people's deaths. Caboose. And he once gave birth to an elite. Yes, that is the thing that happened. He calls him Junior. And now we have the best character in the whole show, Michael J. Caboose. He's Blue Team's rookie. Really, 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 really dumb, but we love him. It's implied that this was caused by the AI implants, although we don't know for sure. He also really likes Sheila, who is the Blue Team's sentient tank, and he once had a pet mantis droid named Freckles, and became the leader of the Blue Team by accident due to some sarcastic jab from Wash, and has a habit of team building, killing, and the most important factor, he hates babies and taxes. And finally, Franklin Delgado Donut. I know he's not really a member of either team. He's just a guy who he was just like a doctor that was sent in to try and check on everybody, check on the blue team. But and he is a pacifist. Although there was like one time in season 11 where when Felix showed up and said he was a freelancer, everybody, Doc included, pulled out their gun on him. But granted, Doc was probably sick of the freelancers too, and he once got infected by O'Malley, who is like an AI that represents the Alpha's rage, and has a violent split personality. However, during the events of Restoration, it's revealed that he died during the Battle of Chorus when fighting against Malcolm Hargrove, who's like the CEO of some industries that was holding this planet hostage, and he was ended up trying to save Wash. Now, the feats done by the Reds and Blues at the time I'm remembering this was that they defeated the Meta, who was like a rogue agent of Project Freelancer, and they survived a bomb that was with explosions that's so big that it made them all think that they traveled through time. And he also took down Project Freelancer and Chorus's occupation by Car Industries, and the Blues also lifted a tank. And now on to the one that put more effort into researching, the Mercenaries. 9 mercenaries who were caught in the war over some useless outfit.
Just to give you, we have a 5-minute warning. We had
okay. So as I said,
in 5 minutes. So yeah,
in season 2, it takes place in the 1800s, where these two idiot guys named Redmond and Blue Torch went to expand their weapons manufacturing business, and turned him useless. And on his will, which run his skin, he there. They did this for 100 years, and basically, it's on to mercs, because normally they had like one. It was like a he has a standard loadout, but he kind of lifts his rule for season 2 there. So first off is the scout. His real name's Jeremy. He comes from Boston. He's the youngest of 8 brothers. Who start fights, and he would run fast against his brothers. His weapons are a scattergun, the false in nature, soda popper, bonk, a winger, flying guillotine, and a Sandman. Finally, there's soldiers. Crazy patriotic American who was rejected from every branch of the military, but bought a ticket to Europe and fought the Germans anyway. He didn't even know the war ended until 1949, 4 years after the war actually ended. So he just started blowing up civilians around then. And he's also best friends with the Demo Man, and he once killed Tom Jones in the comics. He also once teleported Brett for 3 days. His weapons are his rocket launcher, a shotgun, a cow mingler, which like this there, righteous bison, a shovel, man threads, which are these boats like a blowback, and finally a battalion's backpack, which give him buffs. Then there's Pyro. We don't know shit about Pyro, other than that he thinks he's a happy, fun rainbow wonderland where do you believe in magic plays. He once became a CEO of an engineer company by accident, and his weapons are a flamethrower, a rainbow blower, which is like a rainbow flamethrower, a flare gun, a detonator, a thermal jet thruster, a fire axe, a sharpened volcano fragment, which is like an activated volcano, and a giant lollipop. Finally, there's the Demoman, a black Scottish cyclops. He blew up his adopted parents trying to kill the Loch Ness monster, and he drinks all the time because he gives him double vintage because of lack of his eye. Said eye was possessed by a crazy wizard named Erasmus, who was also Soldier's roommate. His alcohol problem is so bad that his liver turned into a brewery to handle all them alcohols. Also, normal food poisons him. His weapons are a grenade launcher, Alibaba's web boots, which have 5 moves, a sticky bomb launcher, charged door shield, his trusty bottle of scrumpy, and finally the eye of the Islander, which is like a giant broadsword. Next is heavy weapons guy. He's from Soviet Russia. He escaped the gulag with his family, and he tries to raise his money for his family, although he did give $7,000 to a trick-or-treater in the comics. He has a PhD in Russian literature, according to Poker 90 inventory, and he loves his minigun and sandwich more than anything. His go-to weapons are his minigun. Yes, as battle happens, I am not giving him his own miniguns because I am not separating this man from Sasha. Shotgun, sandwich! A buffalo stick, which is mini crits. A shotgun is badass, and warrior spear, which is bear claws. The engineer, probably my least favorite personality-wise. He's from Texas, 11 PhDs. His father built a life extending machine for the Mann brothers. And he's a builder. Basically, he builds all kinds of things like sentries, teleporters, and dispensers. Only you can only build one at a time. His actual weapons are a shotgun, Frontier Justice, hunting gun, Postman 6000, a pistol, a capper, laser gun, wrench, Sudden Hospitality, and Eureka Effect. Finally, there's Medic. Next, there's Medic. He hates everyone. He's German. He once made a guy's skeleton disappear that resulted in his medical license getting revoked. And he has a pet bird named Archimedes. He has a syringe, cursor gun, medigun, bone saw, uba saw, and once he heals a certain amount of money, he'll uba charge. Then there's Al Sniper. He's Australian, except it's not. He's from New Zealand, and he was raised in Australia because they launched him in the rocket inventor's face. His adopted parents don't like his job. He is his main weapon is a sniper rifle, an AWP hand, very rifle, a bazaar gun, Arabian themed one, a shooting star sci-fi gun, the classic based on the one from the original Team Fortress, an SMG, a Drade, which is a jar of his own piss that he throws at people to get crits, Kuriki, a Joshua, and Fur. And finally, we have the spy. He's French. He slept with the scout's mom. He can disguise himself using this little thing that looks like a cigarette container. And his main weapons are these bunch of revolvers, a knife, a total wand, which is a knife themed referencing Aladdin, Converse kunai, basically a bunch of knives, including one that was basically a pre-order bonus for Assassin's Creed. Now, the mercenary spies are that Pyro became, as mentioned, Pyro became a CEO. Heavy once got a bunch of dogs to beat up some guys. Scout, soldier, and spy beat up an evil Santa, although some kid actually did the actual kill. Spy also killed a guy with a toothbrush. Scout once fought a bear with a bone, and soldier bought nothing but honey. And they also provided the Siberian cold without proper kitment because of some stuff found about the remains of Amelia Earhart. The heavy fought a giant bear that was bigger than those that was a soldier's scout Pyro fought. Soldier's also really good at breaking people's necks. That's how he killed Tom Jones, after all. And finally, Sniper got resurrected by Medic and lost Atlantis. As for how this fight begins, Sergeant Simmons basically are saying out, asking why they're here. Like, why we're here. Sergeant asks why they're at Red Base, not trying to kill him. Because they found a the briefcase from Vanco. Griff checks on it, but Simmons be like, wait, Griff usually doesn't like work. It turns out that to be spy disguise. He runs out of Blue Base, the others chase him, but the vehicles get sapped, and that's when he runs into the mercs. And then, fight! And that's pretty much it. That is my presentation. Thank you all for coming to my TED Talk.
Thank you for the TED Talk. Really quick before we got to jump, who do you think wins?
What? I think the Reds and Blues, mainly because they get along better. I mean, plus the Mjolnir armor could protect them from more. Even though TF2 soldiers can be very durable, I just think the Reds and Blues might win better because, despite not getting along the most, they managed to band together to do great accomplished things. Yeah, I just think the Reds and Blues just get along better.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes a lot of sense. Cool. Well, thanks a ton for showing us this. This is great.
Thank you guys later.
Yeah.
Bye. Beautiful time.
Yeah. Bye.
That was epic.